ดีค่ะทุกท่านวันนี้เราจะเดินทางไปที่ Robben Island นะคะเริ่มจากที่ Nelson Mandela Gateway เลยค่ะเป็นท่าเรือสำหรับเดินทางไปที่ Robben Island นะคะจะมีทุกครึ่งชั่วโมงค่ะเราต้องจองออนไลน์ด้วยนะคะนี่ก็เป็นการลงเรือนะคะเป็นเฟอร์รี่ขนาดใหญ่นะคะมี2 ชั้นแต่วันนี้พายุเข้าเขาให้นั่งแค่ชั้นเดียวค่ะอันนี้ก็คือระยะทางจาก GPS ค่ะอันนี้คือห้องขังเบอร์ 4 หรือว่าเซลล์นัมเบอร์ 4 นะคะซึ่งเป็นห้องที่ท่านเนลสันแมนเดลาถูกจองจำไว้ที่นี่ค่ะและเรื่องราวของการจองจำของท่านเนลสันแมนเดลาก็กำลังจะเกิดขึ้นค่ะทุกคนตามไปดูกันค่ะกุ๊กกุ๊กเทคนิคสำหรับคนที่เมาเรือนะคะนั่งผิดหน้าต่างเราไว้นั่งท้ายเรือนะคะเพราะว่าหัวเรือมันจะโยกแรงค่ะเรือมันโยกมีลม
As I was saying that the experience of Robben Island is going to be in 2 sessions.
Okay.
Normally it's either we start with an island tour or we start with a prison tour to avoid the situation whereby all the buses will have to go to the prison all at once. There will be a congestion. So in our case, I will be taking you straight down to the prison.
Yeah.
And I will leave you there. I will hand you over to an ex-political prisoner of Robben Island. And he
คุณลุงคนที่เป็นไกด์นี่นะคะคือคุณลุงทอมค่ะท่านเคยอยู่เป็นผู้ต้องหาหรือว่าเป็นผู้ถูกคุมขังที่คุกที่นี่ด้วยค่ะแล้วท่านตอนนี้ท่านก็กลายมาเป็นไกด์และท่านบอกว่าออกจากเกาะนี้ไปท่านก็ไม่รู้จะไปทำอะไรท่านก็อยู่ที่เกาะนี้เรื่อยมาเลยค่ะและนี่คือยูนิฟอร์มของนักโทษว่าจะได้อะไรไปสำหรับวันแรกและวันสุดท้ายที่ไปอยู่ที่นี่ค่ะ
No country can claim that it is free once the economy is This is the courtyard of B section, and this is where Nelson was brought to in 1964. This was the first section that was completed, and the walls that you see around here, these walls were built by prisoners and not contractors in 77, 78 to prevent them from communicating. But we had our own ways, a tennis ball and a soccer. And this is where prisoners down here in isolation could talk this is where they could sing. The first picture is Nelson in conversation with Walter. The second one, those were the shoes were the colored Indian prisoners, and those were the no shoes were the black political prisoners. Black political prisoners during those years were treated actually worse than dogs here on Robben Island. Colored Indians in those years, they enjoyed a special privilege that they had enjoyed outside. And Nelson, when they discovered this group, they took him from 1, 2, 3, the fourth cell on the right, where you will be going to, and just behind here. And that is where they punished him 14 days of spare diet. Spare diet was rice. You must decide whether you put legs straight in these cells here. You have the height of Nelson. So that from in 1982, the mats you see there, everybody slept on. The blankets you slept under. And the bucket, that was the toilet that was used by all prisoners. No, he had his own bucket, every prisoner had his own bucket. And that bucket was cleaned only once per day. And the only toilet where you see here is where they empty their buckets into their pet flush. That is part of the interim system. When they
แต่กำลังจะเข้าคุกแล้วค่ะบ๊ายบาย
you lock yourself up.
ตอนนี้อยู่ในคุกแล้วนะคะ นี่ก็เป็นที่นอนนะก็จะเป็นโต๊ะก็ตรงนี้จะเป็นผ้าขับถ่ายนะคะ ก็จะทำความสะอาดแค่วันละครั้ง ห้องก็ประมาณ2 เมตรครึ่ง2 เมตรครึ่งโอเค
But when they came reading, this is what where they entered and where they came out. Yeah, it's there. When it closes, you won't say there it's an entrance or an exit.
No, it's like stone.
But A-section prisoners, the younger ones, this is where they could play tennis and volleyball during those years. And this is where they could talk. Inside the cells, down here, no one was allowed to talk because they recorded me. And talking on the wall, it was recorded. They found anything incriminating against you, and they ultimately also take you back. This means the Bantus, black people prison given food, just enough for them to survive until ever since this prison opened in the 60s, until this prison closed in 1991. This is what a prison ticket looked like. This is what a letter looked like when it came from the census office. And the tool that you see in the closet there, that is the tool that they used to beat prisoners up with in the line with stonework during those years, and whenever they came looking for anything illegal here. When they could not find them, that is what they used to beat prisoners up with during those years. These were used by those prisoners in 86, 87. They were coming, they were sent this up country, and they came down to Robben Island prison, they contracted HIV. So when they got here, they could walk. But when they got the doctors, then they were given wrong medication. And ultimately, they became weaker, they started crawling. At the exit, they were exiting, where food and water was left during those years. And then when after 77, when they started voting and separating prisoners, and they took off. And this section up front is B section. And in B section, Germany occupied Southwest Africa since 1864, up until the Second World War. And during the Second World War, they left. The government is only coming occupy this section from 1986 until 1991, when the Robben Island prison closed.
Okay.
When the prison closed in 1997, Nelson declared the museum. 98, 99, UNESCO declared it a heritage site. And there's a section where beautiful murals, and those murals actually, we wanted to remove it, but UNESCO said no.
No.
The heritage, it's part of the heritage list.
Yeah.
Yes, and in here 60 to 70 prisoners slept. The mess you see there down on the social map, that is what prisoners slept on. But that's 79, 80. Prior to that, from 65, when this was completed, they slept on those mess. Up until 79, 3 blankets, and then you put, later years it was increased to 7, and you put 4 on top of those mess, and 3 would cover yourself. Whether it's winter or summer, these cells cold. Those cupboards built in 78, 79 for prisoners to put their clothing and study material in. In here is a toilet and a shower. When you came to Malaimos, don't worry, you go in there, have a shower even though the water was cold and salty. In here there is toilets that get flushed. When you had a need, you sit and you flush. You can go inside.
How many people were staying?
60 to 70.
Oh.ส่วนตรงนี้จะเป็นห้องขังรวมจะอยู่ประมาณ50-60 คนไม่รู้เขาอยู่ใหญ่มากๆนะคะ
Links naar rechts.
แล้วก็ตรงนี้ก็จะเป็นนิทรรศการเกี่ยวกับคุกหรือว่าสถานที่จงจำสถานทันสถานตรงนี้นะคะก็เป็นประวัติว่าใครมาอยู่มั่งนักโทษประเภทไหนหรืออะไรยังไงค่ะเราก็อ่านซึ่งมันก็โหดหูนะคะแต่คือมันเกิดขึ้นมาแล้วเมื่อเรากลับไปอ่านแผ่นสุดท้ายเราถึงรู้ว่ากว่าเขาจะต่อสู้กันมาได้ขนาดนี้นะคะสำหรับคนผิวสีที่ถูกจองจำนักโทษทางการเมืองที่ถูกจองจำและพยายามแหกคุกสารพัดนะคะเขาก็มีนิทรรศการให้เราชมตรงนี้เราก็ดูอ่านแล้วก็เข้าใจเลยว่ากว่าเขาจะลุกขึ้นยืนได้นะคะใช้เวลาตั้ง18 ปีค่ะ
In the morning, an hour in the afternoon, and if it was a bad one, half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the afternoon. And this is the cell where a prisoner called Mpuke was surviving and died. And we came back from Waiting Hospital, they locked us up here because the school was already locked. This is where they go, sure.
ห้องนี้ก็เป็นห้องพยาบาลเบื้องต้นนะคะก็คือว่าใครเป็นอะไรเจ็บป่วยก็มาก็จะมารักษาที่นี่ก่อนค่ะนี่ก็จะมีการวางเป็นคล้ายๆพิพิธภัณฑ์ว่าให้เราดูว่าอันนี้เป็นอะไรเป็นเพลงเป็นเตียงผู้ไข้
Up there, there is where those other prisons that were
ห้อง
able
ใหญ่
to
มาก
locate.
ถ้านักโทษก็จะมีเจ็บมีปวดกันบ้างค่ะมาขนาดที่เราเดินประตูฝั่งนั้นแล้วค่ะแต่ว่าเราต้องอยู่เป็นแต่ละอย่างค่ะมีสำหรับอาบน้ำคนป่วยลุงล็อกประตูแล้วลุงก็เดินไปฝั่งนั้นอันนี้ก็เป็นเตียงที่ป่วยที่พักฟื้นนะคะ
Ik vind het zeer erg.
This is where those prisons that they're able to locate. Black people prisoners in those years were not allowed to be given bread. Black people prisoners, they could purchase bread only once per year. And your country is one of the biggest exporters of food.
Yeah, I've read about it.
And Muslim leaders, royalty, and then the deposits of the countries in those years. They were brought here in the 16th century and the 17th century. The burning bush.
That took place here. But for your information, Robben Islands have been used for many years and for different purposes. That is why we have a multi-layered rich history that dates back. Say that they did not have the resources for them to be able to deal with the disease. They only had options of isolating those people. So right inside is a graveyard where they left the leper graveyard. We have an approximate number of 1,200 marked as well as unmarked graves. And they extend all the way up. Decided to establish a clause specifically for this gentleman. The name of the clause was called the Sobukwe clause, meaning that government will have to sit annually to decide on his future. He was given orders not allowed to leave the site, and he was also not allowed to talk to anyone, being the cards were getting him here every minute when he was kept here. That is why in 1968, he partially lost his voice as his throat was getting swollen. The very same year, 1968, the prison authorities noticed that he was getting mentally challenged. And a lot of countries intervened for him to be freed. But the Apartheid government, they still did not want to release him. But at the same time, they also did not want to be held accountable for his death. That is why they decided to move him from Robben Island in 1969 to a town in the central part of the country called Kimberley. And I think in Kimberley he was kept under house arrest until his death in 1978. He died at the age of 54.
Oh, still young.
These are some of his letters were given to us by his son.
What is this for?
He just brought it here. Actually, we never had the chance to ask as to what was the purpose of this trip. It is called the limestone quarry.
และนี่ก็คือบริเวณประวัติศาสต
Limestone
ร์
quarry
ที่
played
เรียก
a
ว่าทุก
significant role in the democracy of this country. A lot of things
ทุก
happened
เชื้อ
from the
ชาติทุกสี
limestone
ผิ
quarry.
วเอาหินมากองรวมกันนั่นก็คือกองหินที่โชว์อยู่ในแบงค์100 แรมของ South African Rand นะคะ นี่แหละค่ะคือประวัติศาสตร์ หมายถึงว่าทุกสีผิวคือยูนิตคือในคืออยู่ด้วยกันได้เลยค่ะ
Both facilities that you see here, they were used by the present guards during the apartheid period. On the left-hand side, there is a clubhouse that has just recently been renovated, and the clubhouse is no longer operational. Between the clubhouse and that church in front of us on our right-hand side, is Clive's house, house number 49. That is where I'm staying.
Oh. So I know where you stay.
And now you know where I'm staying. The house, the site, is a church by the name the Garrison Church, and it happens to be the oldest building on the island. It was built in year 1851. During the time when we had people with leprosy being isolated to Robben Island. That's the site.